Well, 2.5 years ago, it was the most unlikely and most unexpected alliance. Uddhav Thackeray of the Shiv Sena broke up with the BJP and formed a government with the Congress and the NCP. Many predicted that it would die soon, but it did last this long. Ultimately, though, a rebellion in his ranks has forced Uddhav Thackeray to resign as Maharashtra Chief Minister. But the drama isn't over yet. There are a lot of challenges that remain for the Shiv Sena, including who the real Shiv Sena is. But what exactly led to this rebellion and what is the future for the Thackeray family? Joining us exclusively on NDTV today is Aditya Thackeray, former minister in Uddhav Thackeray's government and of course Uddhav Thackeray's son. Aditya Thackeray, thanks very much for speaking to us. How did we reach this point, Aditya Thackeray? How do you think you came to this point where your father faced the kind of rebellion that he did?
Like you mentioned earlier, unexpected. I think that is the word because to be betrayed by your own is a whole different thing altogether, and especially in the time that they took advantage of. When my father, the Honorable Chief Minister, was just out of surgery, was in isolation, that was the sad time that, these traitors have taken advantage of, and good luck to them for whatever morals they have.
So you're saying that this came as a complete shock to you when this news started breaking 10, 12 days ago?
We had a certain idea. We had a certain idea of a couple of people's ambitions and what they wanted to be. And they were also offered those posts whenever, exactly a month before this whole drama started. Having said that, I think whatever's happened has happened and everyone knows what has happened. And the Chief Minister has been, very graceful, very large-hearted. And you've seen the things unfold in the last 24 hours.
It's said that there were a lot of differences that Eknath Shinde had with you in particular and was resentful of your rise within the government and within the party. How would you respond to those allegations?
I wouldn't see it from my side that way. I've given more than enough respect to everyone. But it's sad if someone's sad about someone rising, a colleague rising, or a junior colleague who you've worked with, or someone who you've treated as family. For us, all of these people are family, and for the last 15, 20 years, we've worked together, been in opposition together, come into government together, faced the hard times together. And if someone who you've seen from the age of 10, 12 is, doing good work, being appreciated by people, if you start getting jealous of that instead of being happy and proud and blessing the person, that speaks a lot about moral values and humanity out there. So, I wouldn't have anything to comment on that.
But would you say that there was an ideological churn within your party with the Eknath Shinde faction saying that you had given up on Hindutva and core Hindutva? In fact, again, coming back to you, they seem to resent your sort of more progressive approach to politics and, felt that you had deviated from the core agenda of the party.
If you see, to be honest, in the last 2.5 years of work, never have I ever spoken or criticized, anyone. In the last 2.5 years, there's not an iota of politics that we've actually played. I think the real disadvantage we had is we may not be seen as the hardcore politicians, and probably good people do not have a place in politics in our country today. But having said that, if, going to Davos and getting about 50,000 crores for the state is wrong, maybe we were wrong. If going to COP26 and speaking about the climate agenda and trying to push the climate agenda, sustainable development, trying to bring younger people, women, people who have more perspectives than just one into the mainstream. If that is a problem, maybe that is a bigger problem. But I guess that's not something we're, here to accept. We're here to listen to more perspectives, have a Maharashtra that was peaceful in the last 2.5 years, not have communal tensions flare up. And yet we were the party that went to Ayodhya after the swearing in was done. The Chief Minister has been there twice after being sworn in. I've gone there. I think the perspective of what they perceive Hindutva to be is way different from what, Hindu Samaj Balsaheb Thackeray thought it to be, or the party president thinks it to be, or the larger people in Maharashtra.
Can you tell me what that difference is? It's interesting that you say that. You're saying you're not giving up on Hindutva, but at the same time, all these other issues, whether it's about the environment, investment, that's not a contradiction to Hindutva, or even
Exactly.
aligned with the Congress or the NCP.
Exactly. So, I do not think it's even imperative right now to, answer whatever allegations they're making, because people know it is a joke. People know they have no other reason than to just have their own higher ambitions and monstrous ambitions. So I think even responding to the allegations or such, things that they're saying would be a joke for us.
But, they claim that they were very uncomfortable with this whole alliance from the beginning with the Congress and the NCP. Did they say anything to you, any of these guys today who have now rebelled against the Chief Minister? Did they ever make their displeasure publicly known to you and your father?
To be very honest, in the past 2.5 years, if you see, whenever the Chief Minister has been praised, he has said that be it the COVID work, be it the infrastructure work, be it the importance Mumbai got for the first time in the history of, whatever years that we've had, the credit was always shared by the Chief Minister with every colleague of his. The person who has these ambitions and called off started with the rebellion, he was given a department which no Chief Minister has parted with in the last 33 years. More importantly, if at all there were differences, you could have just come home and spoken. Most importantly in this is differences will always be there in any political alliance. You have seen enough differences in the alliance in the past 5 years when we had an NDA government here. You have differences at every level, horizontally and vertically in politics. It is always about competition. And if at all there are differences, what mature people do, what individuals do, is sit down and sort it out. But in terms of the funds that were given to all the MLAs for the constituency works or department-wise, I think all of us as ministers and as three parties, we've released a paper on how much everyone is given. And especially for the 2-term, 3-term MLAs, I think they've got a historic number of funds in all the constituencies, in all ministries.
But there are also allegations that are being made that your father was not accessible as Chief Minister to party leaders, to party MLAs, to allies, that he was very aloof. He surrounded himself with a small bunch of loyalists and was essentially incommunicado. How would you respond to that?
So one part is true that, and it is unfortunate, but he underwent 2 surgeries in the month of November. And for that, he had to be isolated for a month and a half, and which is a sad thing because it is this time exactly and this reason exactly that these, little rebellion leaders have taken and brainwashed some of our MLAs who've, been taken away with them. The other side, of course, the letters that, sort of came across that there's coterie politics and this and that. I think that is a typical run-off script for every rebellion that happens, that the leader doesn't meet us, there's a coterie, there's loyalists. I mean, this has happened with the Sena 10 years ago when, or rather more than that, when there was an earlier rebellion. And that is, the names have changed. They've interchanged names with Balasaheb Thackeray's names with Mr. Uddhav Thackeray, that he is good, but Aditya is bad. I think this goes on. This is a run-off written old boring script. What is important is, and what is also sad is, yes, that is partially true. From the month of November that he underwent 2 surgeries and he had to be bubbled out. He couldn't physically meet people for the next month and a half. But not a single cabinet meeting was skipped by him. Not a single meeting was skipped by him. His work was going on WhatsApp and all the other technology that is in place.
There were also reports that Sharad Pawar had warned him 3 or 4 months ago, or actually 5 months ago to be precise, that there was a rebellion brewing within the party and a serious rebellion, and that he didn't take it seriously.
I think what is very important is Mr. Pawar or Mrs. Gandhi, Congress, the NCP, all the leaders stuck with us in these tough times. We all knew that there were certain rising ambitions and we had also spoken it out. On 20th May, Mr. Uddhav Thackeray had invited one of these leaders and had asked him if he wants to be Chief Minister. And obviously there was a lot of drama after that, and then 1 month later they had to break away. But I think what is important is what has happened, and I think it's up to the morals of the people who've broken away from a man who stood out as a statesman.
It's interesting that you repeated that Sharad Pawar and Sonia Gandhi have stood by you and your father in these times. Are you saying that you will continue, at least your faction of the Shiv Sena will continue to be in alliance with the Congress and the NCP?
No, there's nothing about factions. It's about what the Shiv Sena is. Shiv Sena holds together with a strong bond of family and trust. Today also we had the Congress leaders calling on us and committing fully that in these tough times where we've been betrayed by our own, they will stand with us.
And you will stand with them?
We are standing for a country that is facing a danger to democracy and a danger to the Constitution of India.
Are you saying therefore that for you and your father to ever ally with the BJP, that's ruled out, or never say never in politics? The point is
right now they are having an alliance, an unholy alliance with some people who've betrayed us. And, they're probably on the way to, form a government. Good luck to them.
Aditya Thackeray, though, what about the colleagues who have left you? As you say, you see it clearly as a very sort of as a betrayal, as you put it. But is there a door open with them to talk to them, to find a way to repair that relationship? And I'm asking because otherwise you're facing a tough political battle on your hands as to who really is the Shiv Sena now.
Tough political battle, or more so for me, I think, like I said the other day, more than the floor test, it is the morality test that these people have to undergo. Look into our eyes, or look into the mirror, into your own eyes, and say, what less did we give you? But more than that, I think going ahead, we've always said this, that there has been a smaller group who have rebelled for their monstrous ambitions, and there's another group who have been taken away and brainwashed in multiple ways, and some of them have literally been forced away. Now, this is what we hear, some of them, whatever, in terms of every possible allegation that we've heard, and we've seen on NDTV itself of how they were whisked away from Surat to Guwahati with 2 or 3 policemen catching them by their arms and necks and, taking them away. Now, having said that, we've always said that this has always been a family. This has always been a family. A, if there are any problems, come and speak. 2, if at all you want to come back, the door's always open for those who have been, brainwashed and taken away.
A couple of questions that follow on from that. One is that, today we saw Eknath Shinde's faction, issue a whip to the party MLAs to be present for a meeting in Goa. So they are claiming that they are the real Shiv Sena. And I think that they're going to claim that in front of the Election Commission also. Are you going to challenge that legally?
See, all of these are legal things. But once again, I want to stress on the same thing, that it is impossible to understand of how a mindset can work like this against a party, against a family, which is the entire party, and against the person who is the party president, who has given you everything and who has brought you so ahead in life, personally treating you as family. The rest is all beyond understanding. The rest is all legality. But what about the morals? What about the humanity? I think that is the core of the question.
So are you saying that there can be a rapprochement, that if some of these MLAs came and met you, that you will keep those doors open?
We've always said this, and we've said this from day one, that whoever has been whisked away, whoever has been forced away, whoever has been brainwashed, whoever has misunderstandings, for them the doors are always open.
Why do you say they're brainwashed?
Because, see, you have seen in a couple of interviews yourself, I do not want to go details, but some of them are going by the script. Some of them are going by an older script. And some of them who have been in touch with us, who have been, contacting us through various people, they want to come back, but they were forced to stay there. And you've seen the amount of security, you've seen the amount of, force that has been placed there to ensure that no one goes in and no one comes out.
So do you think that some of that force has to do with central agencies at play as well, like the ED and the CBI?
No, I think they've just appeared by themselves, and they've just been there to ensure the MLAs there who are on a tourism streak are protected well from people who might be, wondering what they're doing there in a flood-hit Assam.
Do you believe that the BJP was plotting the downfall of your government? Do you believe that they were the ones responsible for doing this?
I wouldn't go into the depths of it. People know everything. People are smart enough to read through whatever's happening in our country and whatever's happening in our state. The sadder part is, like I said, our own people who betrayed us. I think the moral question, the question is to them. How could you do this?
But where do you go from here, Aditya Thackeray, politically? You have crucial elections. I'm saying, where do you go here from here politically? You have crucial BMC elections coming up and other municipal bodies as well. But the BMC, of course, is the richest in the country. And you don't have a lot of time for that, maybe a few short months. What are the challenges that lie ahead for you and your father then in the next few months?
I think 2 pertinent points you made here. Where do you go from here? Like I said, onward and upward, because every time the Sena faces a crisis, it comes together and becomes stronger. Unfortunately, these leaders who called this rebellion and have rebelled, I wouldn't call it rebellion also. It's treachery, because a rebel actually has the bravery to stand there in his own state, resign and face the elections, which these guys do not have any courage. But about the BMC also, I think another point you made was very, very pertinent. The fact that it is the richest. Now, the richest doesn't mean that it can spend it in any which ways. Every penny that has come into the BMC has been accounted for. Projects have been lined up. The Coastal Road project that is going on, slated to be complete by December 2023. The Worli-Shuri connector, the MTHL, multiple projects that have been going on. It was probably for the first time that Mumbaikars felt that we had a chief minister who is from Mumbai, who is voicing Mumbai, working for Mumbai along with the entire state. For us as Mumbaikars, we were all happy to be working for Mumbai. My worry is also that the importance that Mumbai has got as a city that deserves importance will be back to a city that is the hen that lays the golden egg.
Do you think in hindsight that some of the comments made by some of your leaders like Sanjay Raut actually backfired and didn't help in this crisis, that perhaps he was a little too loose with his words?
Look, for someone who's actually gone off to Surat and then off to Guwahati by betraying your own party, there are raw emotions. I'm not defending any statement. I'm not saying what is right, what is wrong. But it is also for the people who betrayed the party men, the party president, and all of us as one family, as one party. It is for them to think that, what have you achieved from going there? And what will you achieve in the long run? How will you face your own mirror?
Aditya Thackeray, so does the MVA alliance in Maharashtra still stand as of today? Does it still stand?
The MVA is an alliance that came together for the betterment of Maharashtra. The MVA is, an arrangement that came together, three parties from different perspectives coming together, showing that this is how democracy can really work. You can have different perspectives in one room and ensure that the state does good work in times of pandemic or in terms of everything else, social, political, economic, or religious, and to have harmony and stability in a state.
But
While going ahead,
yeah,
we are proud of the work that we have done. We are proud of what the Chief Minister, the Deputy Chief Minister, all the colleagues have done. We're seeing the raw emotions of people on social media or whenever we meet them. We're also worried as the three parties for, what is going on in the country and how democracy was actually played around with in our state.
What exactly is worrying you? And it's interesting that you see the positive side of this alliance, because your colleagues who've rebelled are saying that, well, this was a contradiction, and it wasn't it? Was it an adjustment to work with the Congress and the NCP? You're ideologically so different, or you were.
Absolutely, but isn't that what's supposed to happen in a democracy as well? You can be ideologically different, but if you have the same intent of working well for the people, the praise that Maharashtra has got in terms of COVID management, that wouldn't have come Maharashtra's way. The praise that we've got for our infrastructure, our focus on cities, sustainable development, climate agenda, tourism, multiple facets, be it energy, all of it. If we were multiple heads working in multiple directions, that wouldn't have happened.
But what would you say to those in the BJP who turn around and say that it was the Shiv Sena and your father that betrayed them by breaking a pre-poll alliance in 2019 and going with the opposition?
I wouldn't say anything to them because everyone knows what the understanding and the arrangement of that pre-poll alliance was. And like I said, good luck to everyone who's betraying morals and moving ahead.
How's your dad doing, Aditya, since the resignation? What's he been saying?
I think he is extremely proud of the work that we have managed to achieve. He is, of course, touched by the love of the people, and even driving to Raj Bhavan yesterday, we had to stop at a couple of places because people on the streets actually stopped us. You had Shiv Sainiks and you also had a larger number of non-political people, citizens actually stopping us to just wave at us, to thank him, show him thumbs up. I think that is the emotion we've really been touched by. He's seen betrayals earlier and, he's not moved by it because he doesn't have any real material attachment to the seat he was holding. He, came off Varsha the moment he said so. He's given his resignation. I think that's very unlikely of any politician who loves saying, I'll come back. That's not his style. He's very graceful. He's very dignified. He said, Aditya, what doesn't belong to us, never will it. We were doing for the people.
But he's also left the assembly. Why did he leave the assembly?
I think for him, he said this very openly that day, that it's not about the numbers. Even if one person from the MLAs who have betrayed him would stand against him, he would move out from there, and he's done that.
But
he's one politician who sticks to his word and maintains relationships.
One had a sense earlier, definitely, that he was a reluctant politician. What do you think this entire experience has taught him and taught you?
I think more than me or him, I think the people have realized what an administrator he has been. For the last 25 years, the people of Mumbai have trusted us with Mumbai, with the BMC elections, knowing that this man is clean, graceful, doesn't get into the, real politic. He is someone who goes beyond it and wants to help the people genuinely. The response we've seen even from the IS and IPS officers, I think whatever said and done, this man has come out as a person who did not wear any false masks of his own, of pride or ego as a chief minister. He was a chief minister as a human who was before the chief minister or after the chief minister, as he was always and will always be.
And what do you say to those who say that this is actually a commentary on dynasty politics, that this is a backlash against the Thackeray family, and that family-run parties are increasingly seeing their space shrink in this country?
What can I say to them? Good luck with the political analysis.
What is your analysis of it?
I think we're here to serve. This is my 6th generation in social work. We're here to serve, and there's a lot of people who love us, who trust us. For us, it is about who wants to be in this. I wasn't forced into the party by my father or my grandfather. I came by myself. I love doing the work that we've done, and we'll keep on doing. Just that, what my grandfather and his father always, they've always said this in our family, that power and money keep coming, keep going, and keep coming again. It can always come back, go and, come back again. You've got to keep your reputation and name. You've got to be careful with that. Don't let that go down the drain. And that's what we're here to do.
Well, finally, Aditya Thackeray, is a Shiv Sena without the Thackerays possible?
I think that's for the people who've tried to do this and who are trying to engineer this to answer.
Well, they've been careful not to attack you or your father personally. At least your father is not being personally attacked.
It's not yet in the script. It's not yet in the script. So it's, but nothing's expected or unexpected anymore.
All right, Aditya Thackeray, thank you very much for joining us, breaking your silence on NDTV on that political crisis that has hit Maharashtra. Let's see what the future holds for you and your party. Thanks.
Thank you.